through that event and whatever. And I don't know. I've talked to a couple of guys like, yeah, we should bring that back. And I think everyone's kind of on it. I think people are into it, but a lot of us are feeling the same. Like, let me tell you, friggin' lemmings, man. Oh, small sandstone blocks can be destroyed with explosives. This can reveal secrets and new paths through this area. Interesting. Will note. Okay, so we have a little example here, probably. That's probably going to blow up those blocks. Yes, it will. Interesting. I was kind of hoping it would be the effect of... Okay, and yes, that is jumpable. I was hoping it'd be the effect of like a cracked boulder or whatever, at least to know where to go, but I'm sure you can kind of pick it off since you can see on like a 3D game, you can still see through these like little ports and stuff. I wonder. Ooh, okay. So these birds are actually, I think they're, I don't know as much about Yoshi's Island. I do own it and I haven't played a lot of it. It's not one I grew up with. Okay. Oh, fuck. Okay, I was gonna say. Oh, lordy. But I think those are assets from Yoshi's Island anyways. Why is it not blowing up? Okay. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Do all that effort, lose that little bit of health for that. Oh, we got... Ah! Bomb Koopas are a thing. Interesting asset to add. Okay. That's a death. What's death we have there? That is the thing that happens when Mario dies. Oh, I don't know, guys. It's nice to be playing just like a cheery game like this. And I know I got Final Fantasy VI going on right now, and that's all good and fine. And this is not going to take away from... Well, I mean, it's just, you know, sometimes you just don't feel like playing certain games. Like I said today, it's just... I just feel like playing... I feel like playing a happy, colorful platformer, and this kind of fit the bill. So, yeah. Get out of here. Get out of here, you Koopas. You Koopas. In terms of Overwatch, though, it's an interesting anomaly to me. I've never been much into that whole, like, competitive gaming aspect. Mostly because I was not very, I was pretty poor sports like a little kid, and I really had to work to like get over that. And obviously, I think anybody can really get themselves in a bad headspace or tilted as they say at those games. And it's not like I've been safe from having that happen. But the interesting thing, like with that game, and it's pretty much just been that game, and that seems to be a large part of the community, and that seems to be a large part of like what people hate about the community. And I totally agree, because on one hand, I don't understand it. Like, yeah, it's just a game, yada yada. But, I don't know. I find for the most part, like, I'm just saying, I'm not guilt-free of it, but for the most part, I go through the game and I'm just having a good time. Like, I'm there to have a good time. I mostly just stick with quick play for a reason, because I am there for that reason. I do like the idea of doing competitive stuff with that game and the fact that it exists. But the way people get about it, man, is just baffling to me. The way I've gotten about it on a couple occasions is just, like, not fun. But, like, I don't know, it is an interesting anomaly to me, because, like, it's such a thing with that game, and I don't know what it is about that game. I think it's probably just the fact that it's got such a competitive aspect to it. It's got its own league, yada, yada, yada. So, like, I've never been a part of that. Like, I'm usually the guy sitting around here playing classic games, right? But I've had the time to experience this year, finally, really being into a game that a lot of my friends are into. Because, like I said, I'm born in 1995. A lot of this general Super Nintendo, all that kind of stuff. The only reason I was, like, around for it was because, like, we were behind the time in consoles, usually. I had two brothers, and if they had the newer systems, I would only be able to play the older ones or whatever, right? So... and I just kind of stuck with it. I was always fascinated. It's not like you have a lot of money as a kid, so like you play what you have, and you have all these Super Nintendo games sitting around there, and you're bored with your Xbox original games. You're gonna go back and try some of those out again. So, anyways, it's interesting because I have stuck and preferred with a lot of this older stuff. It's just kind of more my style. And I guess nostalgia plays a factor a lot of times too. But that game has been like a godsend. Alex bought it for me, and it's been a good 6 months or so, where I know I say a video game ADD, but with something like that, it's almost just easier to, hello, Tiki Head. Okay. Those are Koopa sprite swaps, I think. It's interesting to have something like that. The fact that I'm like, oh, well, video game ADD doesn't really affect that is because they're little, like, 10-minute matches, or I guess, like, 20, 30 if you're doing competitive, where there's not really a storyline attached, you know. I don't know, it's easy to go to, but the fact is the multiplayer. You know, you gotta do a 6-player team game. I've always preferred teaming up with my friends rather than playing against them, whatever the game may be. So that's been a nice thing to do this year, and I'm just talking about it, once again, as something to talk about. But it's been a large part of my year, you know, at least as far as, like, video game life goes, because I always talk like I have these two worlds of my life. I have, like, the video game life that I largely don't get to talk to anybody in my other life about, which is the theater life, because largely, I don't know, it's just, video games are not a very, I don't even know what you want to call it. It's not something I want to bring up to this conversation to people. People bring it up to me, I'm happy to go off on big tangents about it, but, like, for the most part, obviously, theater, you spend your time around girls, and just the general demographic there is not interested in it, so you just don't talk about stuff that people aren't interested in. You're all there for theater, you're talking about theater, yada yada. Wow, I didn't know where I was going with this, but, oh yeah, because it was just my whole year in general, but I was gonna say, with the theater stuff as well, it's been going ham this year. I'm going to rehearsal for, I'm doing my 4th and my 5th show of the year now, which sounds like a lot, but the 4th and the 5th one I'm currently working on are actually pretty small in comparison. One's like a final project showcase thing for my directing class finally, that I direct like what is currently an 8-minute scene from one of the girls I cast was an alumni that I knew from last year, and one of them is a brand new student who is wonderful, hilarious man who has been a nursing assistant, I would assume, probably for the 30 years he's lived. I think that's about how old he is. And he's going to university back there to get a fine arts degree because he just wants to do what he loves now after spending time doing something he doesn't love quite as much. The other show I'm working on is a complete physical piece with no lines, which is called Emotional Baggage, and it's just like, I think 8 or 9 of us or something, and it's a complete physical piece. Like I said, wow, look at this guy, look at him, he's like, yeah, 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 yeah. That's right, little Egyptian thing. You die too. Okay, I thought you were a Bowser doll palette swap. Woo! Good music is ahoy in this game frequently. Ah! Okay, I didn't watch earlier to realize that didn't go down that far. Part of me still feels guilty for like not talking about the game at all very often, but it's just good. I've been over this, man. It's a good game. I like it. I gotta comment on things and I see them. For the most part, 86 level hack. We're having a pretty good variety going around, and I'm liking the themings. Like I said, it's a good time. I'm a fan of this so far. King Boo Boom, Boom Boom Boo. Here comes the boom. That's who made it, I believe. As I watched in my episode 1 earlier. Oh, hello, Spikes. Hello, Spike Death. How's it going? I'm good. How about you? But yeah, man, it's funny to think. The last time I actually recorded this, I was doing, I think it said like October 29th or something, which, oh, what? Right, you can't touch the side of Spikes. Logic. It's always been a Mario World thing. Yeah. Yeah, I was doing my first show, Peter and the Starcatcher, and I've done a variety this year, guys. I acted in that, a big major role. Took up a lot of my time, obviously. And then I went on to stage manage the same theater's next show, Doubt, which, for those that might know, was that Meryl Streep and Philip Seymour Hoffman movie that came out. At least in its movie form. You might be familiar with it, about the priest, did he do it or not? But, you know, like, that's not really, that's kind of the shock we talked about this in rehearsal as kind of the shock factor thing that people call it. That, oh, that's what it's about, but it's really about, like, Sister Aloysius' doubt in her life and stuff. It's like that's, I don't know, that's really what it's more about. Anyways, I stage managed that, and it was the first paid theater gig I've had in my life, so that was a really big accomplishment. Like, it didn't really hit me until I had cashed the check, and it was just like an honorarium for $1,000 or whatever, and that's probably like less than minimum wage for the amount of work I did, but you know, it's just wonderful to be paid to do what you love. And I don't expect by any means to make a living doing that. I'm not sure I frankly want to. Once those things become a job, it's kind of takes away the fun as much, if that makes sense. But as far as all this local stuff goes, I am more than happy to take on a bunch of it and continue with it as I go forward. Like, teaching is what I'm trying to do. Oh, hello, boss. Hello, Roy. So you're boss too, eh? I'm actually kind of glad they switched up the order of things. That's exactly something I would do when I'm making a hack, is be like, man, fuck tradition. We don't need to have the same order of bosses all the time. Okay. I was gonna say, maybe if I keep talking, I'll have that focus. That laser focus I need. Oh, my mushroom! No mushrooms! Anyways, after the stage management show, I then bled into working light operations on the university show. First show I was doing at the university this year. And now I'm doing show number 4 and 5, both with a company finally in the city near me. Because all these other shows I've done and all my university has been in the next city over a half hour away, and I'm getting sick of it. At least I was.